Hey everyone, Rock DIY here. This is my HVAC system. In particular, this is the furnace, and this is a Trane XE90. This was an all-electric system, and then it was converted to propane 18 November of 2001, and this system has been in the house since 1992, 93, not 100% sure. Since moving in here, this capacitor has been replaced. The capacitor down in there has been replaced, and then a capacitor out at the external unit has been replaced as well. The issue right now is that the system does not blow any heat. When it's on and running, you'll hear this fan here blowing. It comes on, and then you will hear one or two clicks. There'll be one on pause, and then there'll be another one, or there will just be one and that's it. And then what also will happen is after the fan runs for a little while, the fan will turn off and then come right back on. So did a little troubleshooting. Filter is right there. Well, I had just replaced it a week ago, so I know that the filter is not the issue. It's not that it's dirty, but I did look at it and it's fine. I did look at the flame sensor, which is right here. Pulled that out. It was pretty dirty, had a lot of buildup, cleaned it up, and reinstalled that. The other thing, made sure that there was no issue with the condenser pump. That does work. Took some water, filled it up, and it did pump the water out. May not seem like a big deal, but if that's not running, then you could potentially have water back up here where the A-frame is. The back side of these burners, if you reach up in here, had a lot of buildup on them. Still kind of do. I've already cleaned it out once and it's already dirty again. So where I am at now is the igniter. We go with another test to troubleshoot. Oh geez. The heat has had an impact on many of the components in this thing. Everything's just falling apart, but the plug or Molex connector is sitting right in there, so I kind of expected that it's going to do this. But what I'm going to do is measure the resistance on the igniter, put it on the lowest setting on my multimeter. So I am getting OL. Here is what the igniter looks like. See a bunch of buildup right there. This is the original igniter. You can see where the little Molex connector is a little cooked. And that's cooked as well. You can see the wires are kind of browned up some. So one of the things that I did check is when the system was turned on and going through its normal functions, when I was hearing those clicking noises, this igniter right here should be glowing right here in order to ignite the propane. What I don't see when the system is running is I don't see this igniter glowing at all. So this could be the culprit, but it could be more than just this igniter. I did go out and get another igniter, and unfortunately they don't have this anywhere. But I did buy a universal one, but I don't, even though it's universal, it is a different type as far as this piece here, the little probe. So I need to find out if that's going to work or not, because it is completely different. It's a lot wider here. Yeah, so this is a different one. You can see how much wider it is, and this little groove right here is in the center, and on the other one it's off to one side. But there are some adapters that come in the box here, so I may need to attempt to get it in there. The other thing is that this portion is a little bit longer as well. The guy said it's universal and should work. I guess we'll find out. This bracket right here was sitting in here, and I removed the 2 1/4-inch screws that were in it, and this is how the igniter sits in there. You see the screw that holds it in place. Look at that. Surprisingly, the new one, the universal igniter, went on, no issues. There was a second screw hole, and the screw went right in and lined up with the middle of the igniter, and there's these little grooves that braces the igniter in place, and it goes right in there. So maybe that's a good sign. And I did check, this does fit up inside there without any issues, but most importantly, need to get it put back together and actually see that this portion of it actually glows so that it can ignite the propane. Alright, the new igniter is installed right here. It might be hard to see with the camera, but look through that hole right there. You can actually see the blade of the igniter right there. So that's the part that should be glowing when it ignites the propane. Next thing to do is to connect the wiring, rather than completely removing the Molexes and then just putting these wire caps on. I left the Molex on this side. I cut the Molex off the old igniter and connected it to the new one, just to make it an easier connection. With the new igniter, they give you very cheap little plastic caps. Put these on. A little tug, make sure they're on there. I said plastic, but I don't think these are actually plastic. They almost feel like they're ceramic. Alright, so that's all connected, and reconnect this. The little tabs broke off, so those are gone. That's why I need to replace it. So I will be buying new Molex connectors. Try to keep it as flat as possible to stay away from the burners. These are sticking up in here somewhere, then be back in the same situation where all the wiring gets cooked. Alright, so the new igniter is in. Turn the gas back on, turn the power back on. I do hear a hum. Now I'm gonna go upstairs and turn the thermostat on. The thermostat is now on. The outside temperature is 45. Temperature inside the house is 62. And I just set the heat to 67. The furnace should come on. No way am I an HVAC expert, but I was able to do some simple diagnostics, narrowed it down to the igniter, and it works, because it definitely was not working before. So I've turned it off, and now what what's left to do is put this cover back on, and then the heater will be back in operation. Thanks for watching the video. Just want to add a note that if you do decide to do this, be very careful. I wouldn't recommend that just anybody do this, but if you have some know-how, you could do this, but do be very careful. Make sure you do turn the gas off, and make sure you turn the electricity off. If you have the panels off and you have the electricity on, be careful not to touch any electrical components, especially here, like where this capacitor is, because you may get shocked. And then also be careful because there are many sharp edges on these systems.